14, 15, 16, it was kind of like just grinding. But it was even way before that. It was 2011, 2012, 2013. It was like, how many Metcons can I fit into a day and grind through? And like, even if I'm crying through a workout, I would keep going. And it's like, okay, that was not necessarily beneficial all the time. Like, if I'm in a mental space where I can't give a full effort or intensity, like, it's probably better for me to be done at that point. And just learning those little things along the way. Or like, if I'm getting together with my family one day and it just doesn't make sense for me to wake up at 6 a.m. to go try to fit in a little piece of training, it might be best to sleep in. So just kind of like, yeah, I guess learning those little pieces of life balance, but still knowing like, I gotta train really hard if I'm gonna give this season a go. Like, it's not all fun and games.
So usually I don't coach at all on Saturdays, so I try to get here at 8:30 if I can. Waking up early, not that that's that early, is not really my thing. So sometimes it'll be 9:30 or 10:30. But if I make it by 8:30, my incentive is that there's a big group that goes to coffee and to the dog park after that. So I try to get here. The cool people come early.
All right, so our workout today, got 7 rounds of time, 15 kettlebell swings, 50 double unders, and 15 hang power cleans. No, this is not a partner workout. So you'll see your suggested weights on that board. A big priority, making sure you know that Russian kettlebell swing. If you go to that American, you better have that mobility and that position to do so.
It was a good way to get me moving for the day, but it was definitely tough. I did about 600 or 700 feet of handstand walking yesterday, so immediately in the first round I felt my traps. Kettlebell swings are not really my thing, so that was a pretty heavy kettlebell for a lot of reps, but good workout. Anytime you see 7 rounds of anything, it's going to be horrible. Usually we have a time cap. We didn't have a time cap today, and I usually try to cut the time cap in half, and then I tell Ben whether he made a good time cap or not. But yeah, just having people doing it next to you always helps. I could have gone a little harder today. I usually know right when I'm done if I rested too much or what I could have done better. We are going to Park Grounds. It's a coffee place. You can get breakfast there, and there's also dogs, the dog park.
Our life changed so dramatically within a year between 2013 and 14. That was when we opened the gym, and then I made the CrossFit Games, and then you develop sponsorships, you start traveling, you do all these things. And so it was kind of a whirlwind, but nothing I would ever trade. I loved every part of it.
I don't know. Every year I wonder how long the Open's going to be able to continue just because it gets more and more competitive and I don't trust what other people are doing. But overall, I thought it was good. I thought I had won the third week, but was a few points shy of Tia.
It's okay, you won in the North America.
Yeah.
The Northern Hemisphere.
And she was the fittest, so.
Whatever. Have you guys watched the new documentary? No. I should.
Have you?
Yeah. Well, I fell asleep. I watched the first half. It was very funny.
I actually haven't watched any of them, but I feel like when I'm done, I'll like go back and watch all of them, but.
In 2015, basically I went in with everyone thinking I could win the games, including myself. And so there was so much pressure put on that year, and it ended up being kind of a disaster. So it took a while to recover from that, just mentally, mentally and physically. And so 2016, I tried to turn it around and be like, all right, like I know that I'm continuing to get better. It wasn't like 2015 was a good reflection of where I was at. And then 2016 was even worse.
17 was going to be her last year because 15 and 16 were not fun experiences. I don't think they were fun experiences for most people. She got rhabdo in 15. They didn't want to call it rhabdo there, and I don't know why. I mean, I guess liability for some reason. But we ended up having to go to the doctor after that, and we ate a lot on that trip. 16 was also difficult because it was basically the same games again. It wasn't fun for her. She had herniated a disc that year. So we kind of approached 17 completely differently. 15 was the fittest that I've ever seen her. So the results at the games was really hard to take, especially going into like the final workouts where she couldn't move her arms. She couldn't complete a handstand push-up. She couldn't do a pegboard, which are things that she could definitely do, but she was so wrecked by the end. It was really hard to watch.
Those were two pretty bad experiences, although I did feel very accomplished at the end of 2016, just finishing and, not dropping out or anything like that. Both of those years, really. So I'm like, all right, I can give this one more shot. 2017, if I don't have a better experience, that's probably it. I'm not just going to keep beating my head against the wall. I'm not looking to place 30th at the games like that. I mean, I placed 24th and 29th in those years, but to me that wasn't fun, and some people would think that qualifying to the CrossFit Games would be enough, but it clearly wasn't for me. Anyway, I gave it one more shot, but I also wanted to shift my attitude once I got there and react better than I had in years past and see what that did for me, and it definitely helped. There were still plenty of things I could have done differently and wish would have gone a little bit better. But in the end, I placed 16th, and I felt better than the past few years. I was more recovered, and just didn't feel as wrecked as some of the other people around me, which was a pretty big victory. It was that day that Ben and I kind of just talked hey, do you think you can do this one more time? All right, I'm gonna have a Southwest scramble this afternoon. This is pretty good, protein and fats with less carbs, just because I had some cereal earlier. So this has 370 calories, 41 grams of protein, 12 carbs, and 19 grams of fat. So it's pretty solid. And then if I add some beets, that'll just add a few more carbs to that. And
and some colorful vegetables. I prefer to eat three big meals, but it usually ends up being more like four, and some snacking. I don't know, we're just like always on the go, so depends on the day. Favorite food? I could eat tacos any day. It's really hard for me to go without eating some kind of chips, which, you know, isn't the best, but fits my macros. But that's something I've been trying to eat a little less of lately. It's like, you don't need chips in your life, but I really do. I don't dread being done. I look forward to being done. I've talked to Stacy quite a bit. She's informed me that it's extremely weird and it's hard, and I know it will be. I mean, I had that period where I was done with gymnastics, and that was weird too. But I think I'm a lot more ready for it this time, and it's going to be my own choice. And I don't think, I mean, there's nothing for me to be scared of in being done. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities, traveling, friends, that you've developed along the way that, you know, when I was in the Bahamas this year, I'm like, oh man, it's going to be like, I could do this forever, but it's like, okay, like, no, no, I can't do this forever. So yeah, I'm more looking forward to it than dreading it. In 2015 and 16, I dealt with some of like the worst anxiety in my life. Like simple tasks were very hard. And so I think just putting things into perspective and knowing that like I still want to live a very balanced life, and so maybe I'm not willing to train as hard or as long as other girls, and maybe that's okay. So I guess it would be cool for me to show other people that I still work hard, but I was given this talent and I don't want to put it to waste. So I'm going to do the best that I can, and whatever outcome that is, it is. But basically it was those 2 years I put so much focus on, I want to win the CrossFit Games, that it consumed everything. And I just don't want that. I don't want that consumption. And then if I place so much emphasis on there, will it be meaningful when I get there? I don't know. If you have to put other relationships aside and, you know, put all my gym members on the back burner, I'm not willing to like sacrifice that completely. I don't want me retiring from the sport to say like, I don't like this sport. Like I want to encourage people to do it. It's just, I feel like my time is up. It's very contradictory. Like what I'm saying, it wasn't fulfilling to just make the games. I would love to get back into the top 10. That would be my ultimate goal this year. So we'll see.